will you or can you or would you try to change his mind regarding the bill seeking to lower income taxes? I know that you have a track record on that. You filed the bill when you were in Congress, and the same arguments were raised.
I brought my show and tell.
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir. Yeah.
so in fact, in contemporary history, the legislation that reduced taxes and increased take-home pay was courtesy of yours truly. When we filed this bill, when I was a senator, no? So it's quite important that our bona fides be well established. The president is very well aware of my position and my advocacy.
Yes, sir. I think being aware as to you taking actual action to have him change his mind, because the same arguments before about revenues being lost are the same ones now. Maybe just the absolute figures are different, no? But it's basically the same thing. So since that's so important to you, then I hope it's still important to you now.
It is important
to me.
I think
the issue here, I think it's a time. No? I mean, same with the FOI. Maybe it would be better. Maybe it would be better for that this would be done before the president's term ends, or Congress passes this before the president's term ends.
Well, my advocacy is well established. The president, the government has studied this matter quite closely and is continuing. I think what's important to note is that they're continuing to study the matter. It is very easy for those not responsible. It is very easy for the peanut gallery to say, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. But for the president, I think that it is also his responsibility to look at all of these matters with a great deal of seriousness, because these are serious matters. The continuation of the budgets for many of the programs and projects that the government is undertaking may be imperiled. So that is what the president is weighing. It's not simply, it's so easy to play to the crowd. It's so easy to be populist and say, oh, in fact, let's put it at zero. Where do you end? Where do you end this spiral of, you want to bring it down 10%? Well, let's bring it to zero. I mean, let's just cut the debate all the way to the end. Let's just bring it zero. But that's not being responsible. That's not being part of good governance. I think the issue is not, do we bring down taxes or not? I think that as a fundamental belief, the money belongs in the pocket of the people who worked for it and who earned it. Think of this as homeowners association issue. Everybody in the homeowners association contributes to the kitty, let's call that the tax, so that there's security, so that there's lighting, so that the basketball court is maintained, and so on and so forth, right? So now the homeowners association is saying that, we're collecting, maybe there's one faction, there's some homeowners that are saying, you're collecting too much, collect less, right? I think the administrator of the homeowners association is simply saying, well, before we simply say yes, let's take a look at it, because what services will be hurt and will be damaged. So I think that an act of responsibility and maturity by the president ought not to be taken against him. He's studying the matter and continues to study the matter.
Sir, pardon me if I press this, but I think, again, it would be safe to assume that on matters like this, you're more of the expert than the president. And
no, I never presume that. Let's be very clear. No, the president is the one with the mandate.
Yes,
we all were just his appointees.
Yeah, exactly, sir. That's where the start of my question. Because if you really believe in that, I mean, again, we go back to the argument of the same arguments were raised when you filed that bill. So how could it be different now? And again, he said he's studying it. That sounds like, to some or to many, it's like archiving it or shelving it.
Well, that's unfortunate. I take the president has always been straight with me. He's not a bolero. So he said he's studying it. So I take it at face value. I'm not playing ping pong with the president now, trying to parse what his words are or not. I mean, he knows what the stand is. He knows that he himself looked at this issue when he was a congressman. I filed this when I was a senator. He was a congressman, and among the matters that we discussed as members of the Liberal Party was the basic premise of liberalism, which is that the money belongs to the people who sacrificed and worked for it. They contribute this to the common weal, to the common good, for common needs, right? And if there continues to be common needs, that's what government is there for. But if in fact there can be a break or there can be relief given, then why not? No? But I think that to simply play to the gallery and simply say yes, of course, why not? I think it's also. I mean, he is well within his rights as leader of the country, as custodian of our entire national interest, not just the interest of one sector or another, as custodian of such, to study this very closely.
Be sure to come back. News 5 everywhere. Copyright 2015.